multiple steps behind. Defensively, just couldn't get the job done. Really, really weird turn of events for your Portland Trail Blazers trying to get a victory there against the Warriors. Start season ended up being, unfortunately, the worst home opening loss in Blazer history. Also one of the biggest season opening losses for the Warriors. And again, nothing went the Blazers' way in that one. It was just a dud. Yeah, that's a weird sound effect, but that was just a dud. Not how you want to open the season. Final score when you left the arena that night was 139 to 104, and then there was a tweet from the NBA yesterday or today. You never know; it all bleeds together. But that they added a point to the score because the statisticians missed a made free throw in that one. So the final score actually was 140 to 104. Yeah, because Blazer fans needed that. Blazer fans needed an extra point to be added to the score there. And we can look at the box score here. As if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. My camera fell down. But Draymond Green had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Jonathan Kuminga, 10 points, 4 rebounds. 14 points from Trace Jackson-Davis. 17 from Steph Curry in an off shooting. I say off because he just wasn't required to do a ton. He only took 10 shots in this one. Almost ended, though, with a triple-double. He had 9 rebounds and 10 assists. Andrew Wiggins had 20 points. Buddy Hield led the way with 22 for the Warriors. Tell you what, I said all game long in the pregame show, off season long, that was a good acquisition for the Warriors. Someone to come in and fill in for the now departed Klay Thompson, and he is going to fit in very well. He is such a good three-point shooter. And so putting him into a Steve Kerr offense is just plug, play, and see what happens. So you go down the list. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Warriors in double figures. GP2 had 8 points, and Lindy Waters, the third, had 8 points as well. As did we said Draymond. So you almost just had basically an entire team, everyone in double figures. Looking at the Blazers, 16 points for Jeremy Grant, 11 from Toumani Camara, who I still thought was a bright spot in this one, despite the tough overall performance for your Blazers. 10 points and 11 rebounds from DeAndre Ayton, 15 points from Anthony Simons, 15 points from Denny Avdia, 22 points to lead the Blazers for Scoot Henderson. He was 7 of 18 shooting in this one. The three-point shot didn't fall. He was 0 for 5, but you did like his aggression. He got to the rim. He made some tough buckets. But I just think the downfall in this one was the defensive side of the ball. I mean, the Warriors shot 48 of 93, 20 of 48 from beyond the arc. That's 51 and 41% respectively. And that was where I just think it just really fell apart for the Blazers. And then on the boards, the Warriors won that battle 57 to 42. But when you talk to Coach Billups postgame, he talked about how defensively it just felt like the team was 1 or 2 steps behind all night long. And that was the first time all year to this point, including the preseason, that the team just felt out of it, like they didn't feel prepared. So that's a weird way to start the season. I think everything's supposed to click for you, and you're supposed to feel good going into the season opener, but that's not the way this one played out for the Blazers. And the wind was taken out of the sails early because, like I said, the vibes in Moda were good. But then it just took the dump, and it was not a good performance from your Portland Trail Blazers. Now you look to bounce back against the New Orleans Pelicans, the first of 2 games against them here this weekend, because you'll play them again on Sunday in one of those weird little scheduling quirks that they've started to add to the schedules here, because they're a little bit later in the season. Here in a couple weeks, you got the 2 games in a row against Minnesota as well. So, you get 2 teams early, which is good, but if NOLA has your number, that's bad, right? Now, fortunately for the Blazers, unfortunately for Blazer basketball fans, is the fact that the Pelicans already got the injury bug coming in on them. DeJounte Murray, who was acquired in the offseason, he's out after injuring his hand in the season opener. That's not great. He's a player that a lot of people love to watch. Very, very good, skilled guard on both ends of the floor. He did just undergo successful surgery on that injured hand, and he will be out for 4 to 6 weeks. So an unfortunate start to his Pelican tenure. Also, Trey Murphy, who is a very, very good young piece to that lineup, is out with an injury as well. Zion Williamson didn't play in the season opener due to illness, but we'll see how he goes. He is expected to return in this one, according to the latest injury reports out of New Orleans. When it comes to the Blazers injury report, it's just kind of the same. Robert Williams is ramping up, should hopefully be able to return to action soon. Shaedon Sharpe is still dealing with that labrum tear. He's still got a few more weeks of being evaluated, and those are the ones you got to watch here because they need Shea. They need that offensive explosive power. They need that starting guard. I think it'll be interesting to see when he comes back. Does Toumani still start at the 2 for a minute? Because Toumani did get that start in the season opener, which surprised a lot of people. A lot of people thought it was going to be the Scoot and Ant at the 1-2. And going with Toumani, it says a lot. It says something about Scoot. It also says much more about Toumani Camara than it does Scoot Henderson. And that's the fact that Toumani Camara has absolutely come on and been incredible for this team early. Defensively, he's a star. And offensively, he's coming around and getting better and better and better. So the more he plays, the better for your Blazers, right? And it was great to see him getting in that starting lineup. Adds a ton of versatility to Coach Billups' lineups. And, I mean, the fact that he can go play the 2, he can play the 3, he could play the 4. You can put him all over the floor. I wasn't trying to rhyme and rap. I just happened to. And he's just been incredible. I love him. He's been my favorite Blazer up to this point through the preseason and through the first game of the year. Now the Blazers just got to build off that. Game 1, you flush it. We said it was kind of a dud of a game, a turd of a game. You flush it. You move on. You go to game 2. You readjust. You get ready for NOLA, and you take them on. Now, the Portland, can they go out and get a win in this? Absolutely they can if everything's firing. But can they get blown out? Absolutely they can if they misfire like they did in that season opener. I think what you want to watch for tonight is not the win or the loss. It's how the team responds to what happened on Wednesday. Do they come out flat? Because if they come out flat, we have a problem. I will sound the alarms in the early season. I don't care. You cannot come out flat. If they come out aggressive and they look locked in, that's exactly what you want. Because that shows you, okay, that loss, we felt that one. We felt that one. We're going to come out. We're going to come locked in. Like I said earlier, you can lose games and still play well. That's what I want this team to do all year long. Just play well. If you lose games, which is going to happen because there's talent gaps and they're playing the absolutely stacked Western Conference, I get it. But what is unacceptable is losing games because you play poorly. And that's what happened in Game 1. Don't do it 2 nights in a row. Come out swinging. Give yourself a puncher's chance. All right, going to take our first break of the show. If you're trying to watch on YouTube, I'm going to fix my camera. It's laying down on the floor right now because I knocked it over. We'll fix that. And when we come back, we will head down to the media room just below us and hear from Coach Chauncey Billups right here on Blazers Game Day on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. All right, I have no idea why 1 is being weird. I was trying to set up and fix my headset, which is why that segment was kind of weird. All right, so this one's working. 3's working. I'm assuming it's probably I just need to reset. YouTube's still listening to me. That's cool. What's up, YouTube? Trying to fix a mic in the middle of the show is not fun, YouTube. I promise you that. It's terrible. I'm going to try to fix it right now. I got a few minutes. Welcome back in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We're awaiting Coach Billups to step up to the podium, and as soon as he starts talking, I'll stop talking. That's how we're going to do this. Shacker will pull his audio up. You'll hear him. He's probably going to give us any updates on the lineup. I'm assuming it's going to be the same as it was in Game 1. Tumani getting that start at the 2, but you never know. Maybe he switches it up and goes with Scoot at the 1 and Ant at the 2, because you can look at the way that lineup played out. Scoot did have a good game. He was picked on all preseason long, but he went out there, did get 22 points to lead all scorers. Unfortunately, had a minus 31, which was the worst plus-minus on the team, but it sounds like Coach is talking right now.
Chauncey, is Ant feeling okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's feeling real good.
What was up with him opening night? He didn't seem to have his usual pop.
Picked up 2 quick fouls. Take anybody out. A bit of aggressiveness. But you know, I don't think we had anybody that looked great. So, you know, I think Ant's fine, man. Fine. I do think him missing some of those preseason games kind of hurt his rhythm. You know, but he's feeling fine. But he was, you know, up until that point, he was the best player in camp. You know, so yeah, he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
The ankle that he missed a lot of the preseason with, is that anything that's still lingering or bothering him?
No.
Coach, I've heard you mention this maybe in the past or discussed in the past, but when things are going south, when things start to turn, who are the guys you are looking for on this team to kind of be that voice to say, hey, like, let's straighten things out?
Yeah, I think naturally you just look for your most experienced guys, you know, your most veteran guys. And in this case, obviously, Jeremy, you know, Ant, Jeremy, Ant, D.A., you know, who's got a ton of experience. And just you try to look to them to keep the group together, you know, to keep everybody positive, because truth of the matter is, with the exception of probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 teams in the league, there's a lot of teams going to have a lot of those type of nights, you know. So what do you do when you have those nights? Unfortunately, we'll probably have more of those nights. Hopefully we play a ton better than that. But you still got to have guys and that can galvanize the group. Obviously, as a coach, I try to do the best I can. But you need players in there that's going to do that.
That's what I was going to ask. Is it different coming from them as opposed to you? Because I feel like you can't do it every night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's funny. I told a lot of our guys, I wish I could play on this team. You know, I wish I was like 37, really couldn't play no more. But I wish I could play on this team. My leadership would be totally different, you know. But, yeah, it's definitely always different coming from your peers, you know, and your teammates.
Does the league feel younger to you, like from when you played?
Yeah, a ton.
Do you think that changes team dynamics?
Sure. You know, you just, like, on a team like ours, you know, just I know it more than anybody, but the coaches, we have to kind of raise all the players, you know, and different than when I came in the league. I was 20, but we had a lot of older guys, you know, D. Brown and Dana Barrows and Purvis Ellisons and guys that were older guys that, like, some of them wasn't going to play that much, but their job was to raise me, you know. So, yeah, but the league is, to me, much younger. I don't know the stats on it, though.
What kind of adjustment has it been for you not, you know, having, because, you know, the guys that you brought up as kind of the de facto leaders of the team, you know, guys like Ant and Jeremy, those are like kind of more quiet guys, whereas your first 2 years you were here, you had Dame and everybody kind of knew, okay, that's the guy, that's the one everybody looks to. What kind of an adjustment for you has it been as a coach, having not one guy that everybody kind of in the locker room knows, okay, that's the guy that everybody's looking to?
Yeah, it's a big adjustment because every team and everybody needs that, you know, Sean. So it is a big adjustment, but to me, the opportunity is great, you know, to step in and go get it, you know. And that's something that you can't give to anybody. That's something that whoever it is has to go take it, you know. So I think that, along with so many other things this season, is the opportunity for guys to take steps, take leaps, go grab whatever you want. You know, it's all there for us.
Johnson, do you feel like Donovan, Summer League Game 1, preseason Game 1, regular season Game 1, do you feel like he maybe amps himself up a little too much in those first couple shifts before he can? Yeah. He seemed to figure it out Summer League, same thing with preseason, and it seemed like opening night he was a little too amped again. Do you think that he just needs to kind of flush that through his system?
Well, yeah, first of all, for a rookie like him, you know, he's 7'2". The worst team he could have played against was the Warriors, let's be honest. They're the best in the business at not only moving the ball but moving bodies. Their placement, I mean, they had you spinning like a top out there. So he's made those adjustments, and he's going to be just fine, you know. But that team in particular is going to be moving very fast for him. It was moving fast for our fast guys. So it was a perfect storm for Donovan. But I do. He's going to be just fine. But to your point, he's very hard on himself. You know, he expects a lot out of himself. I demand a lot out of him. But it's what he likes and needs. He likes a coach to coaching. He likes for us to kind of be on him. So I love that about him.
Do you take extra effort in that where some guys you might have to kind of take under your wing a little bit? You got to kind of get into him?
Yeah, but I'm still getting to know him.
Yeah.
You know, I'm still getting to know him, and I'm not an in-your-face type of coach anyway, but I'm an honest coach, you know. So we're still getting to kind of know each other, and obviously it's totally different from him. He's learning so much. You know, at UConn, he knew it all. He knows the system. He knows his teammates. He knows where to go to dinner at night. He knows everything. Everything is new for him, you know, and so I got to give him a lot of grace in that. This whole game is new. Everything is new. So I don't like him being too hard on himself because we also got to be realistic, you know. But yeah, he's. I don't think I'll ever be able to change that about him. He wants to be perfect.
You don't have to go reach your inner Danny Hurley?
No.
Get to him?
Nah, that won't happen.
Coach, same starters tonight?
Same starter.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
And there you heard Coach Billups. Same starters tonight was what he said there at the final question. So we were wondering about that. Could it be a situation where you got Ant out there with Scoot at the 2 and the 1, or is Tamani going to get that start at the 2 again? And it looks like Tamani's going to get that start 2 at the 2. Let's make that a thing, right? But what I loved about that presser right there, first off, started talking about Ant. The question was, is the ankle still bothering him or whatnot? And he said no. He just got into the early foul trouble, and that's why he didn't play a ton of minutes early on in that game. So he seems to be fine. But what I did love about that presser was there at the end when he was talking about Donovan Clingan, and he said, you got to understand that was a tough situation to go into in your first NBA game. You're going against a Warrior team that moves the ball just about as well as anybody in the history of the game. They're so good at moving people off the ball and making defenders think and try to figure things out. So to go in and play that team in your first legit NBA game, because, yes, you played preseason. Preseason doesn't count. We all know that. To go in there, though, and play like that against that team in your first NBA game, that's rough, and it's going to be tough. And he went out there, and I thought he did pretty well, all things considered. Plenty to learn from, absolutely. You get the video and the notes, and you get better in Game 2, and hopefully we'll see that tonight. But, again, back to what I loved about that, though, was Coach was talking about how, you got to try to make sure he's not too hard on himself, and he can be a little bit, but, that's just who he is. You're never going to knock that out of him being a competitor, basically, and I love that. I love the fact that when he was asked about that game, he could have been like, yeah, I was just really excited to get on the floor, play my first NBA game, it was so cool, but no, he went to the whole, like, I don't like the way I played. I didn't play well enough. And it's like, that's a rookie. That's a rookie, and that's, again, I think that's someone long-term that you can start to build a little bit of that leadership with and understand that he's a guy that people are going to gravitate towards, because I don't think, as, again, he gets more confident in himself and what's going on, that he's going to take, people going through the motion, so to speak. That's just not him. That's not his character and his nature. He's going to give you all the time. And I love that about him. I think it's something that Coach loves about him, too. I think you need to get that player, though. You got to have that player who wants to be the dog and then get everyone else to follow. I think that's why you heard Coach Billups say right there that he wishes he could, he was still, 37 years old and could go play with this team so that they had that player that they were going to gravitate to, because it doesn't have to come from Coach all the time. And, in fact, it's not going to come from Coach all the time. You got to have a player that really gets the guys motivated on the court, the ones that they're going to battle with there on every single night. You look at the great coaches, right? Phil Jackson, obviously, who did he have? He had Scotty and MJ, right? People are going to listen to them when they speak up. They own that locker room, right? Who else did he have? Oh, he had Kobe and Shaq. People are going to listen to those two. People are going to turn their head when those two speak up in the locker room, right? You look at, wasn't it Larry Brown with the Pistons? Like, who do you? Oh, he had Billups. But a player versus the coach speaking up in the locker room, it's different. It's different. He also had Sheed. He had Rip Hamilton. He had guys, right? Every team has those guys. Obviously, you look at the Bucks. They had Giannis. You look at the Nuggets. They had Jokic, right? Teams have that guy. So the Blazers need that player to be that guy, to come out and just say, hey, I'm going to command this locker room, and you're going to listen to me. And that's what they had with Dame. That's absolutely what they had with Dame, and to a lesser extent CJ, because CJ was a leader in that locker room as well. Who's the leader in this locker room? Who's the vocal leader? We got a lot of guys who go out there and, lead with their actions, but sometimes you need someone to lead with their words too. Who's going to be that guy in the long run? That's why I've said this since last year. I want Scoot to find his voice in that locker room. Once he finds that voice, he becomes a leader. DeAndre Ayton, you saw him find his voice throughout the season last year, and when he found his voice, what happened? He became a leader on the floor, and people gravitate to him. So finding your voice is important, and I think rookies like Klingon might be able to find their voice a little bit sooner rather than later. This is Blazers Game Day. We're getting you ready for Blazers Pelicans here tonight on Rip City Radio 620. Tip-off coming at 7 o'clock. The Blazers pregame show on the Blazers Audio Network with host Chad Doing starts at 6 o'clock, and we still got plenty of more to get to here on game day. When we come back, we're definitely going to talk about this game, though. Start focusing on the Pelicans and what the Blazers are got in front of them tonight. Because even with the injuries, this is a very, very good Pelicans team. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Blazers Game Day rolls on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Oh, welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for our Coors Cold Hard Facts. And fact number 1 is Wednesday was just game 1, right? Flush it, ignore it. I got to talk about it on this show because, that's part of my job. But I already forgot about it mentally in the capacity, understanding that it doesn't have a ton of weight moving forward. Right, and that's a fact. That's a fact. I think there was some people, and I get it, fans are going to fan how they want, but got very, very upset with that performance in Game 1, which, again, I totally understand. I totally understand why you would be unhappy leaving Moda Center or turning off your TV when the team is losing 140 to 104. Right? But I don't think that Game 1 is necessarily how things are going to play out through the remaining 81 games. Things are going to get better, right? At least I would hope that they get better in the long run. This is going to be a learning process for this team. It's still a feeling out process as to who's going to get what, how the minutes are going to bear out with one another. How are you going to balance Donovan Clingan and DeAndre Ayton? How are you going to balance getting 2 where you want him to go, as he's the starting 2 right now, no pun intended? Is that the long-term thing? Where's Shaedon fit into this when he gets healthy? Where does Robert Williams fit into this when he gets healthy? Still a lot of moving parts as to who's maybe going to not be wearing a Blazer jersey come trade deadline. Like, there's so much ahead. Like, you can start talking trade deadline deals if you want, but that's not till February, right? You still got months ahead of you. So this is a feeling out process as the Blazers continue to try to figure out who they are. And we all knew that the season was going to be rough. It just hurts extra that was how the team looked opening night. And again, just because you lost opening night doesn't mean that you can't go win 30 games or that you're not a playoff team. We've seen these things happen many a time. So it's not a major factor, right, or a telling of how the rest of the season will go. But if you play like that again today and you play like that on Sunday and then you play like that on Monday and you start to see that this is a trend, then you worry. I'll worry about trends, not one-offs, right? Right now, Game 1 was a one-off, and I hope it doesn't become a trend. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact. Another fact for me is Donovan Clingan, I think, is really good. I think it's really good. And defensively, what I liked about him in the Warriors game, even on the plays he got beat, and to be fair, there were a lot of plays that he did get beat. What I noticed was you could see the wheels turning. You could see the wheels turning. When there was a play where he was out of position, and you could tell that he got mad at himself, right? And as I said to Dwight and Chad earlier, is there was a couple plays there where you got lost in the pick and roll. They get an entry pass down into the paint. He turns around and he kind of takes a step like he's going to go up and try a block and shot, but he just kind of stops a little short of fully committing. And then he commits, and it was 2 seconds too late, and boom, easy bucket. When he gets to the point where he has confidence in himself to make those plays, and then as soon as he turns, he's committed as he turns, and he's going to start getting more block shots. He's going to start affecting more shots. Like, I think he's going to get to the point where he doesn't have to get a block shot to get a shot to miss, right? Because he's going to be in the right spot at the right time. He's going to impact those shots, and I love that. I love the fact that he was a little hard on himself. You know who it reminds me of in that respect? Who else was super hard on himself when he didn't play up to his standard? Zach Collins. And who, even in his short time in Portland, who turned into that guy that you kind of loved watching on the court because he wasn't going to take it from anyone, played with that chip on his shoulder, and definitely had a voice? Zach Collins. Okay? Do I think Clingan is a better defender than Zach Collins in the long run? Yeah, I do. Zach Collins, again, y'all know how much I did enjoy his game. Love the fact that he was so quick to get out of the paint and guard the three-point line. But Clingan he's kind of like that, down on himself because he wants to be better on the defensive end. And that's a good mentality to have. Absolutely is. It really is. So that's a fact for me. I think he's great. And a third one, because I don't know, things work in threes. Coors Cold Hard Fact number 3 is factually, hey, Zion's not on the IR yet, so Blazer fans might actually get to see him play. Isn't that kind of nice? That's kind of nice. Zion comes down. He's going to suit up. There you go. Those are my 3 cold, hard facts in this one. Now, looking at the Pelicans, very unfortunate that DeJounte Murray goes down so early in this season for them. Just in game number 1, hurts his hand, has to have surgery on it. He'll be out 4 to 6 weeks. He was a great pickup for them. I like the way he fits in that lineup. He's a very underrated two-way guard, in my opinion, just because he's so long, so lengthy, so quick, so athletic. Thought he was going to fit in really, really well with that team, and unfortunately they're going to have to wait about another month and a half before they get to see him back in the lineup, and that is very, very unfortunate. But they still got some really good players on that team. And this is a team, too, that everyone's talked about, like, where are the trades going to be, because they're a piece or two away from maybe really competing. But they still got Brandon Ingram, right? They still got Alvarado, who's so sneaky and good defensively. They still got a guy who's very, very well known here in Portland in 3J McCollum, right? So they still got good pieces, and they're a good team. They're a good team. They're going to test the Blazers tonight in Game 2 for our Portland Trail Blazers, because it's not going to be an easy test. Even without Murphy, even without Murray, it's a good team. It's a good team. The unfortunate part is you look at their first game against the Bulls, or across the board. I mean, DeJounte Murray was leader in assists, leader in rebounds. He's a stud. He's a stud. So losing him hurts big time. But again, they still got some pieces. They still got some guys who can get out there, who can run, who can let you have a good time. They did end up winning that game against the Bulls 123-111. Looking at the box score from them to give you an idea of how things shape out, Brandon Ingram led the way with 33 points. C.J. McCollum had 23. Murray had 14 in the 30 minutes he played before hurting his hand. And talked about all these guys without talking about one of my favorite Pelicans, quite honestly, because he brings it on both sides, Herb Jones, right? He only had 2 points, but he's a defender through and through. So again, and then Jose Alvarado had 3 points. Green had 9. Like, it's a good team. It's a good team. And A. Reeves, not Austin Reeves, Antonio Reeves on that roster too. So they got some bodies who can get out there and score. Depth isn't there as much as they would like it, which is interesting, because this is a team I think you watch hard all year long for the rumor mill. When it starts churning, and you know that a guy like DA is probably going to be a name that gets thrown around a lot in rumors. Again, rumors. I'm not saying he's getting traded. I'm just saying rumors. He's going to get thrown around a lot. Who's a team that could really use a good center and a young center? The Pelicans. And he'd be a really, really good fit for them. And they got some pieces they can give you in the long run, too. So all eyes on the Pels as they come here to Moda tonight to take on your Portland Trail Blazers. Blazers looking for their first win of the season. And they're going to get 2 chances against the Pels here this weekend to grab some wins, because they got a game tonight. And then on Sunday, they play this very same Pelicans team. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the game day. When we come back, though, we're going to give you our keys to the game. What do I think the Blazers need to do to get their first victory of the season and take down the New Orleans Pelicans? Chris Burkhardt with you. Game day rolls on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Time now for my keys to the game. And if you are the Blazers, please, 3 pleases should be enough. Just show effort on the defensive end tonight. The effort was not there against Golden State. The team was multiple steps behind. They looked lost, and a team like Golden State took full advantage. I mean, when Steph Curry only has to take 10 shots and he doesn't pour on 30-some-odd points and his team still wins by 30-plus, yeah, that's a bad night. That's a bad night all the way around. So please, Blazers, show some effort on the defensive side. Secondly, the Blazers need to take advantage of the three-point shots that they get. I thought in that game against Golden State, they actually got a fair amount of good looks from three-point range. There was a couple times during that game where I was like, oh, I like the way the ball is moving around to find the open shooter, but they weren't able to capitalize. Just 8 of 34 from beyond the arc in this one. Jeremy Grant, who's one of your better three-point shooters, was 2 of 8. Anthony Simons was just 2 of 7. Like, that is just not great. Not great. That's 4 of 15 from 2 of your better three-point shooters. You got to be better and take advantage of those shots. I did not think a lot of their shots were contested threes. They were good open looks, so they just didn't convert. You got to be able to do that if you're going to want to win these games in the NBA. Take advantage of the open shots. And more keys. There's a lot of keys, quite honestly. You look at the box score against Golden State, and there was just so many spots where Golden State just absolutely destroyed the Blazers. One of them was the assist department, right? Golden State had 38 assists on their 48 makes. Portland only had 21 assists, 17 more assists than the Blazers. And then on the boards, they got walloped on the boards 57-42. And that's not something that should happen at all when you got DeAndre Ayton, you got Tumani Kamara, who likes to crash the glass. You have Donovan Clingan, who's like 10 feet tall and should just be able to pull down boards. Take advantage of your size, man. Be aggressive on the glass. Be aggressive in the passing game. Hit your open shots. Again, that sounds like, yeah, well, no duh, Burkhardt. I mean, you're going to want to hit your open shots, but it was what doomed the Blazers in that game against the Warriors, was just not taking advantage of what the Warriors were giving you, because the Warriors defense was giving you open shots. You just weren't making them pay for it. And if you're not going to make them pay for it, they're just going to keep giving them to you. So you got to take advantage. Just like the Sean said, you got to hit your free throws. Got to hit your open shots too. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. All right, those are my keys in this one. Again, I just want to see the Blazers come out and play a better basketball game. That game against the Warriors, it was fun for like 5 minutes. And then after that, the wind was out of the building. There was no momentum. The fan engagement kind of tanked because the team was just looking lethargic. And you can't have that. I think you got to take advantage of your sixth man, right? You are the sixth man, and the Moda Center is our house. Go defend your house, man. Use the fans, use the energy, use the vibe to get going and play yourself a good ball game. You got to do it. You can't come out flat. You can't lose any energy that you do have early. You got to pedal to the floor from the tip, and you don't let off the gas until the clock hits zeros at the end of the fourth quarter. Don't do it. Don't even tap the brake. Full gas. All gas, no brake. That's what and guess what? This team's young enough to go all gas, no brake. Let it go. I also want to see how Coach Billups alters his lineups and his rotations, if at all. In this one, yesterday, it was Chris Murray and Ryan Rupert coming up early off the bench. Obviously, Scoot Henderson in there as well. But I thought what was interesting was that Donovan Clingan only played 12 minutes. I don't understand why, in a game where you were down by 30 for large chunks of it, that your rookie center is only playing 12 minutes. Get him in there. Let him be aggressive. If you want to use personal fouls as an excuse, you can't. He only had 1. But you know what? If he had 5, I don't care. Roll him out there. The only way he's going to get better, and he needs to get better, is by playing the game and being out there on the court and being aggressive. All simple stuff, But you can't get out there and you can't get reps if you're watching. You can't. He needs to be out there. And I know you got everyone in here, you got to try to balance your minutes. I get it. But in a blowout victory like that, yeah, he needs to be on the floor. Get him those minutes. That's what I want to see. I also think it's going to be interesting to see how long this lineup rolls out with 2 at the starting shooting guard position. Because, again, Scoot Henderson did lead the way in scoring. I would love to see him do that again tonight. Maybe not necessarily lead the team, but if he can go put up 20 points again tonight, put up 22 against the Warriors, that'd be nice to see. You couple that with a better performance from Ant, a better performance from Jeremy Grant, maybe things churn a little bit, and Blazers can walk out of here with a victory. Where they can take advantage of this Pelicans team is, A, the Pelicans are now down 2 starters with no Murphy and no Murray. Zion will likely play, but it's going to be his first game. He didn't play against the Bulls. But then after that, their depth takes a little bit of a hit. Starters good, depth so-so. And that's where they can take advantage in this one, because the Blazers do have good talent on this team. I want to see them on full display. Get a win tonight. Don't go 0-for against the Pels on the weekend. That would not be good. But again, in a year where losses are going to happen, if you come out and you play a good basketball game, I'll leave home happy. And I'm sure everyone will leave Moda happy. As happy as you can be in a loss. No one's happy when your team loses. But that game against Golden State was a bad basketball game that led to a bad loss, right? You can play good basketball and still lose. It happens all the time. And if your team goes out and plays good basketball but takes the L, you understand and you're okay with it. Sometimes the other team's just better. But this team cannot afford to just be bad and play sloppy basketball. I don't want to see it again. I want to see a fun basketball game all the way through, not just the first 4 minutes. All right, that's going to do it for Blazers Game Day. When this one's over, you can come right back here, listen to me on the 5th quarter. But until then, we got Chad Dewing waiting there at the press row with the Blazers pregame show on the Blazers Audio Network. Following that, you'll have tip-off at 7 o'clock with Travis Demers on the call right here on Rip City Radio 620. And, of course, when the game is over, right back here for the 5th quarter with yours truly. We'll be here, and hopefully when you join me, we're breaking down a Blazer win.